Fine, so the shir is about using canes and wheelchairs on Shabbos. There's a cane. It's using a cane on Shabbos is interesting and different than other halachas of wearing or carrying things on Shabbos. Halachas, you're not allowed to carry things on Shabbos. And if someone does want to carry Shabbos, bring something outside, it needs to fall into one of the three categories. Either it's a garment, you're wearing it, or it's jewelry, or it's insignificant, it's tuffle to you. So,
what if it's jewelry? I thought jewelry is not allowed except
Midaraisa it's mutter. Chachamim made a gzeira, whether it still applies nowadays, it's a whole discussion. But usually
depends men and women also.
Right, there's a discussion. In the Gemara says there's a gzeira that women shouldn't wear jewelry on Shabbos because they might come take it off. There's machlek is whether that applies for men also. Whether do we say men are also might show it off, or men aren't so into their looks that they might show it off. And
depends which men.
Once I'm wearing the jewelry, you might end up showing it off. So usually it has to be jewelry, or it has to be a garment, or it has to be something insignificant, like a thread. And what would be insignificant? Also, there's a whole argument whether if you have tags from the dry cleaners. That's what could you see as the example that's brought in Shulchan Aruch is that the Yidden they would in a certain place would have to walk around with our green circles sewed onto their clothes to show that they were Jewish. So the Shaila was in the Roshenim, you're allowed to wear that on Shabbos. So you're allowed to because it's nothing. If it falls off, you're going to leave it there. You're not going to pick it up. You just put on a new one. It's insignificant. No one cares about it. So it's as if it's not there. It's part of this. It's a part of whatever it's attached to. Either that. So these are usually the three ways. But when it comes to using a cane on Shabbos, it doesn't fall into any of these categories. The reason why it's brought down as mutter is because it's like your shoe. Just like your shoe, you can't. Well, you need to walk. You need this to walk, and your whole body leans on it, and you use it the whole way while you're walking. It becomes like therefore you're not to go on it. Even if you say you're wearing wooden shoes, which according to halacha isn't considered a garment, which is why you're allowed to wear it on Tisha B'av or Yom Kippur. So even though it's not a garment, you're allowed to wear it because this is your shoe. This is how you walk. So to use someone who can't walk with a cane on Shabbos, the reason he's allowed without a cane, the reason he's not to use it because it's like his shoe. And we learned this out.
It's not like a malbush?
A shoe generally is a malbush. We're saying even if it wasn't a malbush, if it was made out of wood, if it was...
Still pretty nice.
Even though it wouldn't be considered a garment, al pi halacha, which is why you're allowed to wear it on Yom Kippur. If it was considered a shoe, you weren't allowed to wear those shoes on Yom Kippur. Al pi halacha, the question is what's considered a shoe al pi halacha. So if it's made out of wood, al pi halacha, it's not considered a shoe. So even though it's not considered a shoe, it's not a garment, still you're allowed to wear it on Yom Kippur because this is how you walk. Even though it's not a malbush type of shoe, but it's a walking type of shoe. And so where do we learn this out? We learned this out from Mishnah in Shabbos. I think it's Daf Samach. And the Mishnah, it's a lot clearer in the actual Shulchan Aruch. So I brought the lashon in the Shulchan Aruch. It gives the actual Mishnah doesn't talk about using a cane on Shabbos. It gives the example of someone. I have a picture up here. Someone who has his two legs are cut off. So as he walks, he has a chair attached to his bottom. On the bottom, he's attached to that chair. And then he has two stilts that he lifts himself up. With those two boxes, he picks himself, moves himself forward, puts himself down on the chair, and keeps moving forward. And besides that, there's also a third thing that you see on the bottom where his legs are cut off. He has like leather things going around his feet. So when his feet bump up against the floor, it doesn't get hurt. So these are the three parts that of the contraption this person would use to get around. This is what the Mishnah is talking about. So look in Makkah number 1. This is in Shulchan Aruch Siman Shin Aleph. And it says Chaser Regel, and start from Tazayin. Kitea, someone who's missing both of his legs and he's not able to walk klal. Al Sheikov, he's not able to go on his legs. Ela Yeshiv al Kisei, he sits on a chair. When he moves, he lifts himself up from his place with his hands. Nismach al Yodov, Val Sheikov. He lifts himself. He leans on his hands and on his thighs. And he pushes himself forward. And therefore, they make certain supports or pads made out of leather or out of wood to put on the ends of his feet, which rub against the floor. When he lifts himself up, he also leans a little bit on the tips of his legs, where he has those pads. So what's halacha? There are three things over here. Are you allowed to go out with him on Shabbos? There's the pieces he uses to lift himself up. There's a shear attached to him, and then there's the things covering his legs. So halacha is ein yetzim behem. These pads which he has on his feet to protect them, he can't go out with it on Shabbos. Why? The ID de tuluyim v'leiman chiara, since they're hanging and he doesn't really walk on it. It's just there because sometimes it touches the floor. Therefore, zimnin de mishtalfi. Sometimes he takes them off. Sometimes it slips off, and he carries it and he takes it with him. Therefore, he's not allowed to wear it on Shabbos because he might come to take it off and end up carrying it on Shabbos. But the chair which is attached underneath him, and these small stools which he used to move himself, shabiyadav in his hands, mutar lotzei. So you're allowed to go out with them on Shabbos. So here, this is the makkah halacha. The halacha tells you for someone, it's not talking about a cane, but it tells you someone who can't walk, he has this chair and these little stools in his hands that he uses to push himself forward. He's allowed to go out with it on Shabbos because this is like his shoe. This is how he walks on Shabbos. And from this halacha, we learn out that the same thing applies to the cane. Just like you could take out these little stools to push yourself forward, because this is how you walk. Someone who has a cane and he can't walk without a cane on Shabbos, he's allowed to walk on Shabbos with this cane. And the question is, different people. Some people need the cane more than others. Some people, they could walk okay, they're just wobbly. They just need it to keep themselves steady. Some people can't walk at all without a cane. Anyone could walk with a cane. Where do you draw the line? How badly do you need the cane in order to use it on Shabbos? So the Alter Rebbe says Hagdara. He says that the heter of a cane only works for someone who can't walk with it at all. Meaning the whole entire way while he's walking, his whole body is leaning on the cane, and the whole entire way. His whole body is leaning on the cane, and the whole entire way. If someone could walk a little bit, if someone inside their house, they don't use the cane. They only use the cane when they go outside for long distances, or because their nerves are going to fall outside. But inside their house, they don't use it. They can manage. So then there's no hazard to use the cane because he doesn't really need it. It's just for extra support. Extra support, we're not going to be matir for you to use it on Shabbos. But if he can't walk without it, then we're going to be matir. Look at the lashon Alter Rebbe inside. I'm looking number 2. Alter Rebbe says, "V'chein chiger." So too, someone who can't walk, she'einu yachal leirich klal. He can't walk at all below makel without a stick. It's mutar lotzeis by afilu einu kosher lei. He's allowed to walk outside with it, even if it's not tied to him. However, if he's able to walk a little bit without a stick, but he's just taking it in order to strengthen himself, in order that he can walk up better, he shouldn't fall. The chayin, so to zakin ha'hidich bebeisei, who's walking in his house, makel without a stick. But when he walks outside, he's nishnal makle. He leans on his stick. Machmas tashish koichim because he's weak. So for these people, it's asur latzis by b'Shabbos. They're not allowed to go out with the stick on Shabbos. Even if he's an elderly person and his body is shaky when he walks and he's afraid he's going to fall, since he doesn't use it in his house and he could walk without it, and it's only to steady himself, he's not allowed to use a stick on Shabbos. In the parentheses, Alter Rebbe gives some more explanation. Since he's walking his house without the stick, so even though this person is using a stick to steady himself, but he's not leaning on it with his whole body and the whole way. He's not leaning on. His whole weight isn't leaning on the stick and the whole weight while he's walking. Therefore, that's carrying on Shabbos. He's not allowed to do that.
Even the same is liable to fall. Even if he's liable to fall.
Correct.
Even if he's liable to fall, he should stay home. Or he could walk with someone else. He could lean on someone else.
We see that.
By the way, it's still expensive like this.
There's a limit schus we're going to get to. But the halacha is brought down Shulchan Aruch. People who could walk without in the house, they go without a cane. They should. Oh yeah, they could hold on. They could hold on to someone else, or they could hold on to the rail to the railing. That they could do. They're not carrying, but to carry a stick, if they can manage without it, that's a problem. They put their whole weight on it. Without the stick, they wouldn't be able to go. Their whole body is relying on the stick. Most one stick. If most of your weight is relying on the stick, and without the stick, a walker will be the same thing. Yeah, a walker you would also have kol gufay. Let's feel what the
actually, in a way, is nice. It's not you're not carrying it.
You're moving it, you're dragging it, right? But that's also a problem on Shabbos. You're also not allowed to do that.
No, akira anacha. There's no picking up, putting down.
Yeah, there is. It depends on the type.
Oh, well, I'm talking about the newer ones today.
The rollators, the one that looks like a golf cart.
The ones that you wheel, with the two wheels in front and back. There's an older walker that you used to have to lift up, and that's already. I don't even think you have those anymore.
Right, it's still
in rehab usually.
Yeah,
that's a
you don't
starter.
see people walking in the street with that.
By directions,
so that would still be Asher Midarabbanan. Even if there's no Akira Anach, it would still be a problem, and it will only be mutter if the person isn't able to walk without it.
No, understood. I'm not.
Yeah.
Why do you go? When you stop, it stops.
Okay, so you're asking if there's Akira and Anach, is it also Midaraisa? Midaraisa, it could be, it's not going to be also. I'm not sure, but it will still be a problem Midarabanan, even though there's no Akira Hanacha.
It's greater, right? I mean,
you'll be dragging it.
He's not going to pass in the Shiloh. You go to the rabbi to pass in the Shiloh.
This is the halacha that brings down. The Mishnah Berurah says that for in order to use a cane on Shabbos is only if a person can't go without it. He's leaning, his whole body's leaning on it the whole entire way. The question: what?
Understood what he said.
It's very simple.
The question:
there's no such a thing. They can't hold for one stick.
No.
There's a tshuva from Reb Moshe. He has someone wrote him a question about using a wheelchair and a cane on Shabbos. Of there, he doesn't give much explanation, but he writes over there someone could walk a little bit, but he can't walk very far, or he's going to need to go up a hill, and over there he's going to need the cane. So the first block or so he's walking, the first little bit he's walking he can manage it, but later he's not going to be able to make it the whole way. He needs a cane. So there, he wants to. Elisha says it's okay, and no explanation.
Okay, but you're comparing a cane to a wheelchair. They're two different things.
We didn't get to wheelchair. He was talking about a wheelchair, but we'll keep it. We'll get to wheelchair later. See, he wants to write us a cave, and Alter Rebbe seems very clear that it's Aser in the Mishnah Berurah. Also, there's Nissen Karelitz. He's a nephew of the Chazon Ish. He has also a sefer. He also writes over there that it's going to be Aser in such a situation. He brings from Lashon, he brings from the Mishnah Berurah, but it's the same Lashon as Alter Rebbe that if you could walk a little bit other way and you're only going to use it later, you can't use it because until you actually need it, that's considered carrying it, and that would be awesome.
You should never need it.
How many people you got a schmerzen on the way? You came to beat him.
Sakanas nefashis.
That's a different religion.
Beating him. And another shaila which is brought up in there. What if someone he is capable of walking, but the doctor told him he needs to stay off his feet? It's bad for him. Let's say, I'm not sure what the case. He has something done, or he injured himself. So he is capable of walking, but in order for him to heal, for whatever reasons, he needs to stay off his feet. So over there, so I saw over there in the Sefer Chutshani, he writes over there. He writes that's mutter because he's going to be using it the whole way. Some of the doctor tells him you have to stay off your feet. He is allowed to. He's using it the whole entire way. The whole entire way, he is fully leaning on it, and in the whole entire way, and he needs it. So he writes over there that will be mutter in such a situation. And there's another shaila. Oh, there's a so that some people are makel with using the cane on Shabbos. So there's a famous halacha from the Taz, which a lot of people question. It's not understood so much, and in halacha it's not accepted, but it says it's a nice limit chus on people who are makel. Look at Maramakim number. The Taz wants to write someone who. Look inside. Maramakim number 3. The Taz says, someone's walking a place where it's slippery, he's worried he's going to fall. Rain came down, and it's on a hill. So it's a similar case where it's slippery, similar case where you're walking in the winter, you're walking on ice, ice. Called ice. Mutter lotza. So what's halacha? Are you allowed to use it on Shabbos? On one hand, the guy is capable of walking, but in this circumstance, the place where he's walking is slippery, and he's worried he's going to fall. So could he take the stick to keep himself standing? Well, let's finish what he says. Let's finish what he says. So mutter lotzes b'makel. He's allowed to go out with the stick on Shabbos. Why? The boys leilech, because he's too afraid. He can't go without it. He's afraid to walk without the stick. Since he can't walk without the stick because he's too afraid, therefore it's going to be mutter. Well, where does he bring this from? Kedei Isa, like says in the Sechtes Be'alin in Lakatif, Damin and Perek Ein Sadin. In the Gemara, there's talking about you're not on Yom Tov. You're not supposed to. I'll say. Before we get into that, what's the Gemara they're talking about? The Gemara says on Yom Tov you're not allowed, even though there's no issur of carrying, but you're not allowed. But there's certain things which is not coveted for Yom Tov, you're not allowed to do. One example is carrying someone on your shoulders. It also brings using a stick on Shah, using a walking stick. So it's not covered for Yom Tiv to carry someone, so you're not allowed to do it. The Gemara brings one exception. There was a certain lady. She was a chashuva person, and she needed to discuss things with the ministers, the government, whoever it was, and she was afraid to walk on her own. So they were out there to carry her on a chair on Yom Tiv. So even though it's Yom Tiv, and we're not going to be out there because Zilzul Yom Tiv. So for this, if there's a big seirach, we're going to be makel. So what does so look what the Taz brings a raya from here? What's his raya? He says the Gemara says Shani Yalosa is different. The Ba'isa, since she was so afraid to walk, they were matir for her. So he wants to say so over here on Shabbos. Someone who's too afraid to walk with a walking stick on Shabbos, it should be mutter, just like the Gemara over there. So there's two very strange things about this. First of all, in the svara, what's the understanding of it? Usually, why are we matir for someone to walk with a cane? Because it's a shoe; he can't walk without it. This is how he walks physically. This is how he walks. He's leaning on it the whole way. He physically needs it. In this case, it's more of like a mental fear. He's afraid he's going to fall. He's afraid something is going to happen. So therefore, he's taking the cane in case he falls. So it's a big chiddush. It's a big stretch. It's a big stretch of the heter.
Here she had to go and speak to the government.
The second thing is, this case is talking about on Yom Tov. Yom Tov, there's no issur of carrying on Shabbos. On Yom Tov, you're allowed to carry on Yom Tov. The only problem is it's not covered. So if she was afraid and there's a big seirach, so we're going to allow her to walk. So we're going to allow them to do it on Yom Tov, even though it's not covered. But over here, we're talking about on Shabbos. The Taz is bringing a raya from Din in Hilchas Yom Tov, where there's no issur to Din in Hilchas Shabbos. So Alter Rebbe in the Kunta Sachar, he asked these shaylos on the Taz, and halacha it's not accepted. However, the Neidav Yehuda, he writes there's a tshuva. Someone complained to him that he was walking with a stick on Shabbos, and he need it that well. And the Rav told him, "You're machal Shabbos, it's asur." So he wrote to the Neidav Yehuda, he was complaining that this person called him machal Shabbos. He said, first of all, he's right. You're not supposed to use it on Shabbos, but I don't believe he called you a machal Shabbos because the Taz says it's okay. Even though the Taz doesn't accept the halacha, but you can't call someone a machal Shabbos if they have the Tazu to rely on. Thomas is talking about Shabbos, but he brings a raya from Hilchos Yom Tov, which is very strange. Yom Tov, there's no. So the Alter everyone has a shayla on the town. So la halacha no, but someone's doing it. Yeah, you have a limit schus. They're not mechal Shabbos. There's a achron who wanted to try to stretch the heter of the taz to a blind person. A blind person who can't see where he's going, so he needs a stick to bump it to where he's going. So you want to say, if you with the sweat of the task, if you see a person who can't walk and he's too afraid to go anywhere, it's going to be mutter. So a blind person can't see anything. So it should also be mutter for him to walk with a walking stick. But it's la halacha. It's also even.
That's how he walks. That's how.
But it's not physically. He doesn't need it for physically walking. He's not leaning on it. The heter of using a walking stick on Shabbos is because it's like your shoe. Just like your shoe. This is how you walk. You lean on it your whole body is leaning on the entire way. That's to a walking stick. So the Taz has a big chiddush. He wants to say it's mutter if you're just afraid. And there's an Achron who wants to stretch it out to a blind person. But la halacha it's aser. So it's doing anyways. Yeah, you have a limit schus on it, but it's aser.
The guy's going up a hill. He's going to be afraid to go because it's slippery.
Yeah.
The whole way, he doesn't need it. The guy that's able to trip, not because of slippery, not because of pain, because his condition, he falls.
Yeah.
So what is the difference if that's conditioning him as straight, he can fall, or by eyes he can fall?
Because he's leaning on his whole body is leaning and relying on the stick the whole entire way. Therefore, it's considered like a shoe. Someone who only is taking it in case he falls, until he slips and he leans on it, he doesn't really need it.
No. Yes, because in some parts you don't have to lean on it. It's always good because down the road there'll be ice.
But that's usher. That's usher.
What?
That's usher.
Oh, it is also.
That is usher. The Taz wants to say that it's okay, but the halacha it's usher.
Okay.
Halacha the Alter Rebbe. There's
No Jew should eat any sticks.
the shaila. So this is on Shabbos. What about on Yom Tov? Yom Tov there's no issur of carrying. Could you go with a walking stick on someone go with a walking stick on Yom Tov? So you would think there's no problem. Look at my muffin number 4. There's a Gemara in Beya. It says Tanur Rabbanon ein hasuma yitza b'maklei. A blind person cannot go out with his stick on Yom Tov, and not a shepherd with this type of garment he had. What's the problem? What's the problem going out with the stick on Yom Tov? You're allowed to carry. Says Rashi, ein hasum yetzer b'maklei dahavi derech chil. It's derech chil because you lose the Yom Tov. You're walking around with sticks and carrying things like that. It's not covered. It's not covered. It's not covered for Yom Tov, and therefore it's usher.
And Shabbos.
Usher.
No, so then if Avada, how did that Achron get the?
Oh, so the The Rosh has a shayla. How come in Shabbos we're matter someone to walk with a walking stick? How come here we're going to be Eser? So he says over here on Shabbos, someone who can't walk without the stick. Over there, everyone knows he always goes with the stick. He can't walk without it. He's leaning on it. Over there, it's not. There's no issur of carrying, and there's no issur of not being mechabed of zulus of the Yom Tov or Shabbos, making not coveted. So therefore, taka someone who needed the stick and he couldn't walk without it would taka be mutar on Yom Tov also. But someone who wasn't leaning on it the whole entire way, who didn't mamish need it, he could walk in his house without it, like a blind person or someone just needs to study himself, it would be usher on Yom Tov also to walk with a stick. The exception is if there's an Eidav. In a place where there's an Eidav, I didn't get to look into the reason why, what's the chiluk, but if there's an Eidav in the place, there's no issur of zilus of the Yom Tov. There's no issur of not being mechabed of not being mechabed Yom Tov.
Why would that be no give?
I didn't get a chance to look into it.
The makel will be Simchas Yom Tov.
The makel will be Simchas Yom Tov because he can walk around, he can get around.
He can walk around safely. He doesn't feel nervous when he walks.
So he could lean on someone, there are other ways you can walk around. So Simchas Yom Tov.
If you're talking about Yom Tov,
Are you allowed to carry a cigarette?
It's a good shayla. So this is a discussion with using cane. So la halacha cane is only okay if you need it the whole entire way. And what if someone he could walk, but the doctor told him he needs to stay off his feet. So there's a chutshani he's matir over there. Someone who could walk a little bit, but he's eventually going to get tired. So la'alacha and Alter Rebbe says it's aser. And in walking, so a blind person who's too afraid to walk without a stick. So la'alacha it's aser. Some people want to be melamed schus, but la'alacha it's aser. So first you have to get the wheelchairs, then the scooters.
They were getting there.
What? First you have to discuss the wheelchair. First, is the wheelchair okay? Then you have to come to the scooter. So the shayla is what's with the wheelchair? You could tie a person can't walk without a wheelchair, and a lot of places can say what's the heter of a stick? Since you can't walk without it, it's like your shoe. This is how you walk. So it's mutter. So a wheelchair.
That's the person doing this. Somebody else doing it.
So when it comes to pushing yourself, let's say someone pushing himself in a wheelchair.
It's even better than
you can't.
He's leaning on it.
You can't. Someone who on a wheelchair on one hand you could tie that you can't walk without it. This is how you go, and this is their chalichas. This should be like your shoe. It should be mutter, just like a cane. And so a lot of places were talking. Some places were talking matter. And Moshe is matter. And
he does it himself.
What?
He does it himself.
He does it himself. Yeah, you can't have someone push you. Moshe was matir, and Chodshaninis and Krelis was matir, and there's a few other places who are matir. However, there's the Tzvi Pesach Frank. He's Iser, and there's a Rav Grosnas. He put out a sefer Leiv Arya, and in the sefer he wrote tshuva being matir using a wheelchair on Shabbos because it's like your makal, you can't walk without it. So he gave his sefer to Tzvi Pesach Frank for a haskama. To write haskama on the sefer. So I usually always wonder, you see all the people write the haskama, so you ever wonder, did they actually read through the sefer before they give haskama? So he did, and in his haskama he wrote, there's a few things he disagrees with in what he wrote in the sefer. So look at Maramaka number 5.
I guess he did read.
Look at Maramaka number 5. He says, Beniktu Beniktu shtei raglav. There's talk about someone who has 2 feet cut off. This is in Shulchan Aruch. It says you can make leather pads on your feet to walk on. And in the tshuva, he went to other mekaris of imater using a wheelchair. To me, it's not pasha. It could be it's going to be aser. Why? Someone who has his legs cut off and he makes leather pants on his feet to walk on them, like someone who needs a cane to walk with. Through with the cane, with these things on his feet. At the end of the day, who is walking? He is walking. He is moving. He is moving himself. That's just helping him. He is moving, and these things are helping him walk. Just like shoes, they help you walk. So that would be okay. You could tie it's just like a shoe. But up here you're talking about a wheelchair. You can't tie the wheelchair is helping him walk. He's not walking. He can't walk, he has no legs. You can't tie that this wheelchair becomes like his shoe and this is how he walks. He doesn't have feet, and he doesn't walk. Now. So being cane.
No. What he's saying over here is different than that mission that you showed that picture or the Alter Rebbe or the
wheelchair.
No.
He's talking about in this case, this picture, right? Where matter. This person also doesn't have feet, right?
Yeah,
this person doesn't have feet.
No, but in other words, he's saying he can go without it. So he's also using something that's external and separated.
Yeah, and he's using this to help him go.
And he's using it to help you go.
So
this is the same thing.
Right. So place him also bring.
What I'm saying is the question over here is why is he comparing?
He's saying he's saying you can't learn out from a stick, but you're telling you can learn out from this case in the Mishnah. The person who's walking with the stools.
He's saying that that he's comparing somebody else pushing it and he's doing it himself.
He's talking about himself. He says he ends up just like someone else can't push him, he can't push himself either.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's carrying. The question. It boils down to someone's pushing himself in a wheelchair. What do you consider that? Do you say this person is moving around, just the wheelchair is helping him, or he can't move? The wheelchair is moving. He's moving the wheelchair. He's pushing the wheelchair, and he happens to be moving along together with the chair.
It's the same thing as that. And what's the difference in that?
over here, it's different. At the end of the day, he is moving himself. He's putting his arms, these things down on the ground. Like he's picking himself up and moving.
Yeah, the wheels are going.
In Achinami, a lot of Peskim Taina, you have a Kloraya, you have a Moshe and Nisinkrelitz, you have Lev Arya and Evan Yisrael. There are a lot of Peskim that say you have a Kloraya from here that a wheelchair. This is how you go. You're pushing yourself. But on the other hand, you can also Taina over here. The guy is moving and making himself move. Over here, this guy gives himself one push.
The chair is making the move.
It's semantics. I mean, this guy cannot. Okay. Whatever terminology you want to use cannot.
Yeah, but
that's what the other half of Peskim Taina.
Without this chair. So
that's what the other half of Peskim Taina.
But we still come to the bottom of the line of how did somebody else push him?
No, we're not discussing someone else pushing him. We're not discussing someone else pushing him. We're discussing.
He's using the logic the opposite. That somebody else can, so he.
So what are we saying about somebody else pushing? Is that completely also?
That would be also.
We see people doing that today.
A yid pushing or a guy pushing?
A guy.
Okay, you're getting the shus makim mitzvah. That's getting into shus. But it's a tzayda. That's getting to the shus. That's shus makim mitzvah. Going to shul, not with a minyan.
Go to shul, to go whatever.
There's the Danish Chaim Tshuva. He's writing about someone who wanted to go, who couldn't walk, and he had to go to shul in some type of contraption, like this. So you want to say that it is considered tzedek. There's Tshuva from the Chavas Yor. He wanted to write that davening with a minyan isn't considered is enough of a mitzvah for the pale. But a lot of places they do. The Danish Chaim says the Zohar counts it as a mitzvah saseh. Davening, hearing answering kaddish and baruchim. The Zohar says it's a mitzvah saseh. So he says it's a tzedek gadol, and he wants to say that it's a tzedek mitzvah to go daven with a minyan. Well, that's a different discussion. Over here, we're talking about could the person push himself.
So you can make a Shabbos wheelchair that every time you turn, it doesn't go by itself. You have to turn the wheel to go by.
They have. I'm saying you turn the wheel.
Yeah, but then it keeps on going. Then it's like going by itself.
I was thinking. I didn't see anyone discuss this about the scooters, right? The handy. So let's finish off with the wheelchair. So the pale, it's a big machleka. It's a big machleka. Machleka placing. Chashav placing say it's also. Chashav placing say it's mutter. Shir Shabbos Kilchasa, he's makel l'tzerich mitzvah on a carmelis. In a place where it's a carmelis, only asher midarabanan l'tzerich mitzvah. He's matir for to go to shul. He's matir for someone to push himself in a wheelchair. So Phil, it's a equal. It's a big machlek. You have to ask your Rav, see what his hachra is. Yeah, maybe it could be makel on a carmelis in a rishus harabim, right? Eastern Park, according as everyone knows, many places with rishus harabim gemara. So you have to
Rishus harabim.
It's a complete rishus harabim. So that's the shaila. And also with these handicap scooters, I didn't see anyone discuss it clear out. I don't know. I thought maybe you could argue that you're pushing yourself with your foot. It's more considered like, I don't know, maybe.
Scooter, what, the electric one?
No, they have these. It's a regular scooter, but someone has a broken leg. So the broken leg, they lean on. They lean their leg on, and then they push themselves. It's like a kiddie scooter, just with things to lean their leg on.
I never saw it.
I saw them.
So I'm not sure. Could that'll be more make a lot. I once saw someone on this handicap scooter, but he didn't look so handicapped. He was ripping down the road, flying. So I think that would definitely be a problem on Shabbos. So, but I don't know. Maybe if you're not pushing yourself so hard, if you're going slowly, moving yourself forward.
How good are you on the scooter? If you get too good on it, then you're not allowed to.
So I don't know. Someone told me that he said that I didn't see it. Someone told me that he said someone was matir, but I don't know. I don't know. That's another discussion. Do you say a handicapped scooter is different than a wheelchair, or do you say it's
a scooter? I think meant the motorized.
No, I would say it was like a cane.
It's like a cane.
It's like a chair.
It's like a cane. No, it's more like a cane.
So it makes sense. I would think that it depends.
You ever seen them?
Yeah. I would think it
he
depends how you
can't-
use it. If you
he
give yourself a
cannot-
push and you go for and you go for a good 10, 15 feet, then who's really moving? Is he moving and the chair's coming along with him, or is the scooter moving and he's going along with the scooter? If he's just moving himself a few for taking a step every time, then I could see why you could be dominant to a cane. But he's giving himself a good push and he's flying down the road. I think the scooter is the main one that's doing the moving over here, and he's just tagging along with it.
Right. If he's moving it
Like
to
a
walk,
bicycle.
or moving it to help him go faster, is a difference.
Bicycle.
I guess so.
Saying in a different way.
I didn't see anyone facing discuss this clearly, but then I just brought up a thought about
You
it.
come across anybody discussing crutches?
Oh, so crutches would be the same halacha as a cane. The person can't, he has a broken leg, he can't walk without the crutches. He uses it in his house everywhere he goes with it. Crutches would be completely mutter.
Crutches would be better. It would be better because you can't go without it.
Right.
Crutches would be
Relies on it every step.
crutches would be totally fine, yeah.
So they are actually carrying the crutches more than
But crutches is more than is a better situation than a
Yeah,
cane.
you're really leaning all your weight on it, but it'll be mutter just like a cane would be. So if they in their house they walk around with the crutches, they need to stay off their feet, and they walk even in their house they walk around like that. So then they could walk in the street like that as well.